Hello, we're gonna team up. This is a new addition to Tim and Randy Discuss Bad Movies, where we're gonna discuss one together that he shared with me. This movie is a little film called
Totem.
Totem.
Yes.
This movie is about an evil totem pole comes to life and attacks a group of sexy college students.
I should explain first, where did I get this movie? Suncoast Video was having a going out of business sale, and so I went there with kind of low expectations. You know, I was, God, I don't remember what I bought, but I mean, just, you know, like, I expected everything to be very picked over, and it was, for, you know, I ended up getting, like, Scream for $6.99, a movie that I will never watch for as long as I live, but just had to have kind of thing. It was like an impulse buy, and I'm flipping through the horror section, and I find this movie called Totem, and I look at the box.
The box is wonderful.
I mean, there's a good-looking girl. Her shirt is like half off, and there's like this creepy-looking totem pole behind her, and she's kind of like this, and it just looks interesting. You know, I want to buy this movie, and it was like $4, and I'm like, oh God, I'd be stupid not to buy this movie, you know? So I bought it, I watched it, and I said, oh my God, Randy, you have to watch this movie. So I shipped it to him. Take it from there, Randy.
Me and my friends watched it, and this movie, there's not really too much to say, except for the fact that these kids are way too smart for their own good. That they can figure out demonic forces much better than most, I think, and these are a group of silly college kids.
Yeah, it's like, it's these 6 kids that are drawn into this cabin. They don't know each other, okay? But they're like, drawn to this cabin beyond their will, right?
Yeah.
And like against their will, and they don't know each other, and they're all sitting around, and it starts with 5 of them. 5 of them are already there, and it's the 6th girl comes in, and it's like, they already know everything. You know, they're like, well, that makes 6 of us, I guess we can get started, you know? It's like, well, how do you know there's not a 7th one coming, you know?
And then and then she's like, well, can we leave? And she wants to leave already. And then they're like, you can't, there's a force field. A force field surrounds 200 feet diameter or whatever.
Yeah, around the cabin that we're in, and it's like, you can't go past 200 feet that way, or that way. We didn't check that way yet. And
but we assume it's the same.
Yeah, and she goes off on this little hike, and she finds this, like a cemetery.
Cemetery with the totem pole.
Yeah, she finds this cemetery with this ancient totem pole, and they're like, what the hell is this? And then, well, one of the guys is Indian.
Yep.
He can read it, or something,
he has the powers.
Yeah, he somehow he can make sense of this totem pole,
yes.
And but he's not an Indian. He's like
he has a really strange accent. He has a European accent.
It's like Eastern European, and like from the beginning, I'm like, okay, we got this foreign guy from, I don't know, Romania, and then it's like, oh no,
they're
wait.
talking about how he's an Indian.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, he's an Indian, and it's like,
and like the other guys were making fun of him for being an Indian.
Yeah, and
like that was the strange.
And that's what threw me off.
Yeah.
Was that they're making fun of him for being Indian as if it's obvious.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
he has a European accent. Come on, guys.
They're like, why don't you just smoke a peace pipe and calm down, man? And then I'm like, what? Why is he smoking a peace pipe? He's Romanian.
Oh, I guess he's Indian.
Yeah, and then he can read this totem pole, and then from that they crack this incredibly difficult,
difficult,
this mystery that just, there's just, how they were able to figure it out so quickly with very little information is beyond me. I think it's just poor writing.
Yeah. The end of this movie is confounded and angered me. Because this movie, it had been leading up to a pretty big climax, and you have our Indian guy, and you have our main girl who are left, and he's suddenly shirtless, out of nowhere, but he's got the body for it, so why not? But anyways, at the end of it, all the people who died start coming back, and the guy becomes kind of a zombie, and the girl's kind of fighting him, and then there's just a lot of chaos, and totems flying around, and people, you know, with shovels, but nothing's really happening, and then suddenly the girl like is yelling at the Indian guy. She's like, "Hey, I know you're really there. You're really in there." You know, classic, you know, good writing plotline. And I know you're really in there. And then he never changes. Like he never becomes his old self again. But suddenly everything just kind of stops. The moral of this story is that love conquers all.
That's all I got out of it too.
Because she's like, but look at the love inside you, and it'll make you not a zombie anymore.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell you are, Totem, and so yeah, I think that was what I really got out of it, which was love conquers all, which is a really wonderful theme that we don't see enough in film today.
And
how about the jump to the Nazi flashback?
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, out of nowhere in this movie, they're just like, okay, they're in this cabin, Nazi Viking flashback.
Yeah,
with
it's
fire.
like there's fire and there's a voice, but you're not listening to the voice because you're laughing too hard, and maybe that's why you don't get it. But it's like all this old footage of Nazis and Vikings and stuff, and apparently this explains the Totem's origin.
Yes, yeah, that's something to do. And the little Totem guys, I don't think we talked about them, but this movie was made in, I think, 1999. So they had some effects. We've come pretty far in CGI at this point. Apparently not this company. They, it was basically just like marionettes, maybe.
Yeah, the totems were made out of tin cans.
Yeah.
and they were never in the shot with the actual characters unless they were completely still.
Yeah.
When the totems were moving, it was just a shot of smoke and the totem going like this.
I want to say though, I don't remember if this does exist, but I mean it probably does. Where here they get like
it's one of my dog's totems.
The totem. They could just like pin the totem on the back. And then the actor would just shake, and it would make it look like he's
like it was kind of moving.
Yeah, like he's got me in the dog.
You never know what it's doing.
Yeah, and it's just bad. And
the totems were something else. So yeah, that's Totem. But we should also mention the previews.
Yeah,
this is brilliant. You go.
The DVD comes complete with fabulous special features. 3 trailers. First of all, I just touched you and that was awkward. But with these three movie trailers for other movies, and they don't have. All right, so you got Totem. Okay, it's basically 4 trailers. You got the trailer for Totem, which is bad horror movie, and then you've got this like a vampire in the hood kind of movie.
Yeah, in the hood vampire movie.
Yeah, and
called Bloods or something like that. It was funny.
And then you've got.
So you're like, that fits.
Yeah. Then the second one is time traveling porn.
Yeah.
And it's like they show everything.
Yeah, it's like the preview is like a porn.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
And you've got like this lady dressed up. I think Marie Antoinette's in it, and she's banging some guy, and everybody's having sex.
It was called the Erotic Time Machine.
Thank you. I don't remember the
We're
name.
actually gonna buy it.
And then the last one was like kiddie adventure, like these 2 kids go on like a night tale.
It was like an adventure fantasy kind of thing. Like it had no place with these other movies.
Yeah, so it was just like, I don't know. I'm assuming they were all produced by the same production house or something. But
I mean, who watching Totem or the Erotic Time Traveler or Urban's Bloods Vampires is gonna want to watch this fantasy night tale movie
with starring these 2 12-year-olds
children?
Yeah. So just a great DVD.
Yeah.
Really quick, do we recommend this movie?
I'd recommend it as a good laugh.
Okay.
At least for the previews.
Yeah, unfortunately, I watched this movie alone, and it was. I had to fight to get through it, but I did it, and I went in with high expectations, and I had some laughs, like we said, but.
My friends were all stoned, so I suffered. They got through it just fine.
It's. I can't imagine it being that hard to find. Just go to Suncoast, but they're all closed up probably now. But probably
looks like you're shit out of luck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, well, we're gonna good talking. We're gonna discuss some more bad movies here shortly, so stick around.